So Mariam says there are 6 of them for the African Skype meeting today, and it has been raining so hard in the Congo, so most of the guys cannot attend the meeting, and electricity has been intermittent. Maybe just in the evenings that they can have electricity, because of the political situation in Congo. So there's a lot of certainty in many things, many social services. Mariam says they'll start with some experiences, real side experiences, and the first one is that of the new friend Kule Papi, who had this experience in which he wanted to defend himself from the dark forces by singing. He first thought of singing in the real side experience. He first thought of singing the HU word, and then all of a sudden, Rabbi Zatas whispered in his ears that he should sing the new you. So he started singing it, and in fact, he actually pulverized all his enemies. And in fact, in the actual life, he was having he's been having a lot of problems. There is one of his colleagues who is a witch doctor, what you call in the French marabout. So it's like a shaman, and he had taken one of his articles, maybe his shoe, and did something on it, and so he was having a lot of problems. And in the real side experience, he saw how the new you destroyed his enemies, those who were ranged against him. So it becomes very interesting is that he had not known about the new you before this real side experience. And later on, after this experience, his colleagues came and met him and gave back his shoes and other articles that they had collected to do the witchcraft on him, and told him that he's actually protected and that he's very strong. And so it was after this experience that he physically met the new you. So in fact, he had the new you, first knew about it in the on the real side, and it was whispered to him by Reverend Zatas.
That's wonderful. Could you, can Miriam write these things down in French, and also you in English, Charles, so that we could publish these? Yeah.
Yes.
It's self-explanatory. It's wonderful with the Africans. So we see that, we're all focused on Africa, is what we are. Yeah, the big focus is Africa. So, yeah, this is very, very important. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. It's wonderful. So we're doing our part here. And, yeah, if you could, and also, I sent you, we're doing some fun stuff over here. I sent you that image that we made about, um, I will, if people want to ask me questions, this is basically sent out to the corporation people or anybody else that has attitudes about us. Hey, they're welcome to ask me questions. Kelsey will set them up on Skype. Can you translate? Now, Hesam just did it in Farsi, translated that one page. Could you translate that in French for the Africans there, Charles?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And then give it to her. So, and yeah, so she understands because we're putting out an invitation to everybody to, you know, you know, they can set up an appointment on Skype or whatever with Kelsey, and that I will talk to them. Okay, and they can ask any question they like about what's going on. But anyhow, that's self-evident. That's wonderful. And was I basically copied her experience down when she went into the temple on the real side, etc. Was that all okay with her? I just kind of did it, so yeah.
Was okay. That was okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. I kind of make it a little bit fun. It's kind of like a little bit Hollywood. I put a little bit of Hollywood in there too. Okay. Yeah, we make it kind of fun sometimes. So yeah, no, that's great. It's self-explanatory. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Then the next experience is also demonstrates uh, the power of the new you. What happens when one sings it, and in this case, the new a new friend there in the Congo by name Jenny. She introduced this the new sound to a male friend who is a sort of businessman, and he got this sound, and he did nothing with it, and then after some time he decided to try it, and he tried it because all his affairs were down. Everything, nothing was moving in his life. See, and even the houses that he had, people when they came in, they moved out in a very short space of time, and so things were rough with him. So one night he decided to try the new you, and after singing it, he realized in his real side experience that he was sort of flying, and then surveying his property. He was far above and seeing everything below on his real estate. And then he realized that there was somebody there pointing a finger to a certain corner of his lot, of his land. And from all indications, it seems it was the real guide, Lightsey. So this new friend, he he continued just slept on till morning, and then in the morning he went out, and then he realized that there was somebody had been caught in the early hours of the morning. He was a sorcerer, was caught naked, and there are times in Africa where sorcerers are caught maybe by daylight, or there's some other strong person somewhere who destabilizes his magic or his witchcraft. In this case, it was the new you that caught the man, and so when he got up, he realized that people were gathered there, and this person was there. When he went out, they told him that he was a sorcerer, and the man confessed that he was the one who had put the things all over there so that people's affairs could not move well, could not go well. So he asked for the diggers to dig a place in that in the man's land there, and it's exactly the place that the real guide had indicated in the real site experience. So the man dug, and the sorcerer himself dug out the things that he had buried in that man's land that caused all the disturbances in his life, the upheavals in his life, his business, and other things. So he removed all those things and took them away, and the man has rebounded, and everything is fine with his life, with his business. So we can see how the new sound here sort of acted like a magnet to trap this sorcerer. He was caught. I don't know whether there's any commentary on that thing.
He's become a detective, and yes, in this part of the world, in Africa, you call them sorcerers. Over here, we call them used car salesmen and cooks at Jack in the Box. Yes.
Yeah. So those are the kind of people that make life very difficult for most Africans. See a young man just start his life, is doing well, and all of a sudden, down, his fortunes are down, his health is down, everything is not going fine for him because of these things that have been buried in the ground. They emit certain vibrations that just take you down. I'm a, I thinking I'm a case in point, and I've suffered a lot of from this kind of thing. A lot of jealousy, a lot of I can't even explain. Just the catalog is too long. I can't go into it. So that was Mariam's. That was the second experience. Mariam, Duane, Pat's question is deals with um, for the continuity of what you're doing. You've taken the relay baton from Paul Twitchell. Paul Twitchell, who laid the foundation, and you are continuing with the real education and deepening things and broadening things. But he wants to know whether the book, Paul Twitchell's works, can still be read, or they should just be shoved aside, and all concentration is on your own presentation, because he says that Paul Twitchell also had some views on many things, and he and many other new friends are asking whether there is this link, or there's a gap, there's a breakage between you and Paul Twitchell, or there's a continuity, or should they read the books again, or should they just keep them aside? So can you clarify this for him?
Yes, Charles. It's very simple, very simple. Okay, and that is that Paul Twitchell was high school. Do you get it? He was the high school lessons, 1 through 12. Now we're in the universal university. You see? So there's no negating of anything, but do you want to go back and read your high school books? You decide. You see, we're in We're in the universal university now, and so it's just like when you went through high school. Now you go to college, and now we're in the universal university. So you decide. So just like when you went to high school, are you going to still read those books? There's no negating any of that. All of that is fine. It's a continuing on, isn't it? You have that experience, but do you want to stay in that experience only? See, now we're in the new you. Paul's day was the hue and the spiritual idea. Okay, we went through that just like in high school. We lived with our parents. Now we're working on our own. We're in the universal, university. We're into the real universes, not just the literal parts. So there's your explanation. Yes.
Yeah, Duane, the next experience is the next real sad experience is that of a child who, together with his father, um, have been doing the new you, and the new friends in Congo, they love this experience because it shows the focus of the child, and uh, and also indicates that the new you can actually work with everybody, and especially with children. So whenever they sang the new you, the child would have this experience where they are living in an apartment building, in a story building, and he would tell the father that he sees them living in a story building, and the father could not understand what the child was saying, and the child went as far as describing even the place, and the father was just taking with a pinch of salt. And later on, events unfolded in a very unusual way, and they found themselves living in that in that kind of building, and at a place exactly as the child had described. So it's it's a spectacular experience coming from a child who is growing in a new you family. Yeah, Duane.
Yes, the idea is very simple, isn't it? Listen to your children. It's not that hard. Yes, they're very real and wonderful. I wanted to say also about the fellow there that asked the question about Paul's books. Charles, you would know this very well, and that is that look at how Paul wrote his books. He wrote them in chapters 1 through 12, didn't he?
Sure.
Yes. And you look at my books, I don't do that. There's only one book. When you look at book 2, it's scenes, and it goes on and on and on and on. And also the other books, there's no chapters. There's one book that I did chapters in, and that is The Real Far Country. I did that on purpose. But all the other books, there's no chapters. You see, we're into the bigger picture now. So you see the difference. Everybody decides if you want to carry your textbooks around from high school, go right ahead. Or get on with it. There's the bigger picture. It's a lot more fun.